on the subject of choiceless awareness, a comment arose about choosing to be choiceless. So, to answer that comment, the choiceless awareness applies basically to a technique of meditation which basically uses no technique. I know it's a contradiction, but it's the technique of no technique. So we can sit down on a bench and we can consciously choose to practice the non-practice. So, how does choiceless awareness then apply to this practiceless practice? Well, if we looked at a choiceful practice, we could say something like choosing to keep your attention above your top lip, under your nostrils, and choosing to observe the breath for 20 minutes. Or you've chose to keep your attention in your dantian, or chose to move your attention through your body as you breathe, whatever technique you're using, or you've chosen to use a mantra and repeat it over and over again until you beat your brain into submission. So what we're doing then with choiceless awareness is we're choosing not to control our attention. It's a choice, a conscious choice, to let go and let the awareness do whatever it wants, to let it dance, so to speak. So sometimes that could be pains and aches in the body, or pleasant or unpleasant thoughts. Could be because I'm meditating with my eyes open. It could be the world around me, the room I'm sat in, or the forest, or the beach, and all the stimuli that would come from such a place, the sounds, the smells, the wildlife. So we're consciously choosing to let the attention do whatever it wants, but also choosing to be aware of where the attention is moving from moment to moment, whether it's in the body, out of the body, senses, sounds, tastes, smells, feelings, emotions, thoughts. We just sit and watch it all, without preferring one thought or one sight over another. And we do this in a state of emptiness, as an empty observer, observing without any judgment. There's no point judging what's going on in your mind. It's basically just reacting to programs and conditioning. Now, as a beginner in this letting your awareness do whatever it wants, you see, if you sit in an empty room and you sit cross-legged, your awareness is going to be in the pain caused by your posture, so you'll be aware of pain. That's fine. But it can get quite heavy and you can get quite stuck there, and your attention can get quite stuck in that pain. Let's say you've got a pain in your knee. You could explore the pain, you could explore the texture of the pain. Is it a sharp pain, a hot pain, a cold pain, an ache? You see, the mind will always, or the attention will always move to whatever is loudest. So if you sat in an empty room in total silence, whatever's loudest is your own aches and pains and your own thoughts. So this can bring with it discomfort and emotional states, sometimes euphoric states, sometimes fear, other unpleasant emotions, anger, frustration. So when we're dealing with the body and the mind, there's always an emotional content that arises if we're attached to the contents of our mind. But when you go out into nature as a beginner and you sit in a forest, or if you sit on a beach, the advantage here is you've got lots of spontaneous movement, spontaneous sounds, spontaneous smells. The leaves are moving around, there's insects flying about, or there's waves crashing on the beach. There's the sounds of the seagulls and the birds singing. There's always something spontaneous suddenly arising that will grab your attention. And you see, our primal mind, so to speak, to keep us alive, it's conditioned to look at whatever's loudest. It's always scanning your environment for the loudest noise or the strongest smell, and then going through your memory banks to understand what those are, to identify them, to make sure there's no danger. I've caught my mind doing this, out walking in a forest in America, and there was an unusual animal smell. And I caught my mind and body reacting straight away. It was a sense of fear, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. And I saw some bear poo, some bear scat, as they call it in America. I wasn't even aware that was there, but on an unconscious level, I'd caught my unconscious mind doing its job of keeping me alive and constantly scanning for unknown smells, unknown sounds. It's fascinating to watch your mind do this if you're walking around in a forest, particularly if there's dangerous animals lurking around. That really does keep you on your toes. I wouldn't recommend it as a practice, however, that people who go and hang out with bears, there's always strange things happen to them in the end. So it's a very simple practice. So apart from making the choice to sit down and allow your attention to do whatever it wants, apart from that, I don't really see much choice in it compared to conventional meditation techniques, such as focusing the attention somewhere or controlling. So in a way, we're giving up control